The verse keeps getting bigger, but some things never change. Whatever you've got, no matter how much or how little, there's always someone waiting to take it from you. You either let it happen or you fight. Don't know about you, but I'm damn well gonna fight. Dosh Mallory, famed frontiersman, 2656. Drake Interplanetary didn't start designing a dedicated fighter in a vacuum. They sought a ship that could work with the rest of their fleet. This newest addition to the Drake line is a nimble scrapper designed to take a beating without breaking the budget in terms of repairs and upkeep. The Buccaneer has to be able to support either the Cutlass or the Caterpillar while still having the range to cover a Herald to safety. To achieve these objectives, Drake engineers chose a single-seat, nimble fighter designed specifically for combat, with lots of capacity to switch its loadout between close-range fire support and long-range escort. The Buccaneer is a purpose-built ship that is ready to go toe-to-toe with any opponent. Drake Interplanetary's latest and finest multi-purpose fighter, the Buccaneer. The Buccaneer was built from the ground up to fly and fight in the manner in which you live. The Buck is a scrapper, meant to maneuver and fight above its weight class. Therefore, there are no leather interiors or hyper pillows. Under order to keep real working space personnel alive, this rough and tumble frontier fighter can be maintained in the toughest of conditions. Drake Interplanetary creates starships for the way you live, and we're excited to add the Buccaneer to our growing list of craft available to genuine human space enterprises. The Buccaneer was developed to supplement the Cutlass Caterpillar system following a thorough review of actual after-action reports and extensive pilot feedback. What did our extensive research reveal? You want a ship that can maneuver and punch without costing a fortune. Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Steve, otherwise known as Pin, and today we're going to take a look at the mighty Drake Buccaneer, a ship that has grown on me considerably. This is my go-to have fun in the verse combat ship. It puts out quite a ridiculous amount of DPS, similar to that, if not more than a Hornet. But on paper, the Drake is slightly more maneuverable. It is fairly agile, and it is ridiculous in terms of speed. This thing is really quick, hence the rather large engines strapped to the side of the chassis of this thing. So it certainly has some acceleration and poke to it. So it is my go-to have fun in the verse combat ship. It has excellent DPS, as we've discussed, with numerous weapon systems, and I just like the way that we're able to customize this spaceship. Right, it offers up a lot of interesting weapon loadouts that we can run with. Now, being a Drake ship, of course, armour isn't in the game yet. Eventually it will be modelled, and this ship will rely heavily on shields to defend itself. It does have the Drake curse, so to speak, of having very little armour. So once the shields go down on this fighter, it's going to cause you problems. Okay, there's not much punishment that this ship will take in the future. That being said, I think the DPS sort of balances that out. Okay, it is very phenomenal in terms of just wrecking things, enemy ships. It doesn't struggle in that department, that is for sure. So I've been flying it around for a few months now. I do thoroughly enjoy it. I've swapped out the weapons for what I would say is my maximum fun loadout, okay? But we'll come on to that a bit more as we progress through the video. Now, a lot of people either love or hate this ship. Aesthetically, it's not the prettiest of spaceships, okay? It just isn't. It's very sort of bare bones, as it was designed to be. It's not easy on the eye, but I like that rugged, simplistic look of Drake. I enjoy their design of their ships. I enjoy their cockpits. I think the feel you get from a Drake ship is very bare bones, but very sort of, you know, basic in function, and that in turn has its own merits, I think. But yeah, I do enjoy the Drake ships as a whole, and their sort of bare bones concept of shipbuilding. I do think it's a little charm that Drake have. Cockpit is very nice. Like I said, it's all encompassing. I do like their MFDs. So, it's a ship that grows on me day by day the more I use it. It is fun to use. Okay, in terms of components, the ship gets 2 size 1 fuel intakes, 2 size 1 fuel tanks, 1 size 1 quantum drive, 1 size 1 jump module, and 1 size 1 quantum fuel tank, which is nice. It costs about 1.4 million. Avionics, we get 1 size 1 radar, 1 size 1 computer, 1 size 1 power plant, 2 coolers, and 2 size 1 shield generators, but we'll come on to that shortly. It has a length of 15 meters, a beam of 16, a height of 4.5, mass 40,527 kilograms, max speed 1,317 meters per second, combat speed of 210 meters per second. So why is this ship my fun loadout ship? Well, as you can see, I've got 2 size 2 spinal mount distortion repeaters, 2 size 3 distortion repeaters under the wings, and 2 size 1 bulldogs on the wingtips, and this makes for good times. I shall now demonstrate. So here we are. This is a VLRT, so it's a very light risk target bounty. It's an Eclipse, and I'm just going to keep spamming these distortion repeaters at them. Now, they do 0 damage to the ship itself, but what they are effective at is completely incapacitating the enemy ship. Now, don't just think that this will work on very light risk targets. I have done this all the way up to some bigger ships, Valkyries, Sentinels, Wardens, Hurricanes. Big ships still succumb to these ridiculous distortion repeaters. Now, you might think, well, they don't do any damage, so what's the point? Well, I like to have fun. And here you can see I am clearly playing with my food as this Eclipse is plummeting to the bottom of this planet, and he's going to have a hard time recovering from this. Now, the Bulldogs that I have very low DPS. But do you know what? If a shield is incapacitated, if the ship has no shields and can't defend itself, then Bulldogs are just fine. So this guy, he's in a world of pain at the moment. And I have had success on numerous occasions where you disable a ship enough, you can actually get out and shoot the pilot in the face, which is a nice way to end a contract, I think you'll find. So that's what I've been doing with this Buccaneer. When it's time to have fun, whip out the distortions and have at it. So as you can see, this guy is free falling. There is literally nothing he can do. He has no response to this whatsoever. Now, these distortion repeaters as well I did use in Jumptown 2.0 and disabled players as well, so they are just as effective there. Whereas my teammates, my buddies, would come in and finish him off in a Gladius or vice versa. But what we're going to do now is, now that I'm happy that he is sufficiently out of the fight, we can probably land here. I'm hoping he hasn't landed upside down. Let's hope he's the right way up. And then I'm going to land this ship like so. D-bus. Got a pistol. Let's hope he's the right way up. I don't think he is, which is unfortunate. We might be able to get the... We have a limited amount of time before he regains control, but we can get right up. I don't think we can open the canopy because he's upside down. No, we can't. But at this point, I would consider shooting him in the face. If it's a player, then it's time to start paying me some ransom. If you're a pirate, synonymous with Drake and Buccaneers, you could argue, this is the loadout that you want. This will come in useful for future boarding actions as well. So that's my fun little loadout for the Drake Buccaneer. Now, I do believe you can put a very similar loadout on the Hornet. I haven't tried it with the distortions, but I am having a blast with the distortion repeaters and this ship. Now, as previously mentioned, there is a flaw to the Drake system, and that is the lack of armour, so expect to get a lot of damage in the future, which I'm currently carrying here. Hopefully, you've upgraded the shields. I would recommend that you change the shields on this, because in the future you are going to have to rely on those shields very heavily in order to survive, and at some point hit and run tactics are more than likely going to be your best option. So what we'll do now, guys, is of course we'll have a little walk around, And it's cold today, and rainy and horrible and freezing, but we'll do it anyway. So as you can see, tricycle landing gear, center mass of the ship itself, with these whopping engines which help propel it to those preposterous speeds. We've got the size 1 bulldogs on the wingtips there, with some landing lights, formation lights. We like lights. You can't deny that everybody likes lights. Okay. As we move around the back of the ship, it's not the prettiest of ships. It really isn't. But the fact that it isn't makes me like it. If that makes any sense, I'm not sure. I enjoy the sort of rugged, bare bones, basic philosophy that Drake put into their ships. It's functional, you know? Similar to that of the T-34-85 in World War II from Russia. It wasn't brilliant in terms of engineering. It was thrown together, but it was effective and it was cheap. And that's the sort of vibe you get with Drake and this particular ship. So these ships, although unpleasant to look at, have a sort of side of endearment. Underneath the engines you can see like these scoops as well, which is nice. I think that the fuel scoops there. Then we have the missile racks located under the wings as well. Again, I've been using those missiles to one-shot most small targets that I've disabled. There's no issue with those missiles whatsoever. You can swap those out to tailor for whatever particular need you would like. But overall, it's a very good ship. I have a lot of fun with it. The speed, the agility, it's good in atmosphere. It handles fine in space. It's fine. So there's a lot going for it, apart from the aesthetics. And it just, from this angle here, tell me if I'm wrong, does that cockpit not look reminiscent of a dinosaur fossil? Like a skull of a dinosaur bird or something? I'm telling you, it absolutely does. Unless, of course, I am going mental. But it does to me. So yeah, good visibility from the cockpit. You won't have any issues. There's no struts giving you any issues or anything like that. But a great ship nonetheless. And Kraken owners, I would strongly consider having at least 2 Buccaneers on board, possibly 3, because the firepower is ridiculous, you know. And I think having a fleet of Drake Buccaneers, a mini fleet on a Kraken, is just fitting, right? I think that's going to be really cool. The DPS they put out was ridiculous. In the cockpit, as I've said before, I like this loadout. It's a HOTAS system, hands-on throttle and stick, very bare bones in here, minimalistic, functional, no fancy features, no home comforts, but we do get some switches that I really want to press. These will all get modelled in the future. What they do for now is beyond me, but let's hope that they do some stuff. And the MFDs are great. I like the Drake MFDs, the layout of the cockpit. They're nice and bright. They're easy to read. They're easy to reach. And they do their functions very well. So there's a lot going for this ship. And of course we have the basic buttons and all of the good stuff that you would expect in any other ship at this time in the game. Power off, engine off, all that good stuff. So yeah, not the most cozy or comfortable, but very functional, good design, all encompassing. You feel encompassed when you're in the cockpit. Visibility's fairly decent. The struts aren't too obstructive in my eyes. I don't have any issue with it. So overall, really am a fan of the Drake Buccaneer. It grows on me the more I use it. The speed is excellent. The maneuverability is excellent. It's just that armour that holds it back, but everything comes at a cost. Right, so let's now go over the components and what you can expect to get when you first purchase this ship. So we have 2 coolers, and they are the Polars. And then we have a power plant, which is the JS300. These are the stock loadout, I should say, which is a size 1, grade 1, class A military power plant. I didn't change that, didn't feel the need. The stock quantum drive is a Rush, which is a grade C civilian, size 1, grade 3. I did swap that out for the Atlas that you can see underneath there, just to give me the extra range. Then we have shield generators. The stock one is the Web, size 1, grade 3, civilian class. I swapped those for the 2 FR66. you will need to upgrade the shields in the future. I cannot stress that enough, because this ship will rely heavily on those shields for your survival. When it comes to weapons, we've got the missiles and the missile racks that we can play with here. The stock ones you'll get Tempest size 2 grade 1s. These are cross-section missiles. And then we have the Ignite missiles here, size 2 grade 1. Infrared missiles. Again, you can tailor this ship to your particular needs. I've done that myself with my distortion to have good times. And then we get the Yellow Jacket Gatling guns, size 1 grade 1 ballistic, and of course Panther repeaters, which are size 3 grade 1. Those are located under the wings. And then of course the stock loadout does feature this monstrous Revenant Gatling gun size 4, which will tear through a lot of things. Not denying that the stock loadout is a very good loadout, and maybe you don't want to change it. It's absolutely fine. But the shields is something I would consider changing. So there we go, guys. That was my video on the Drake Buccaneer, a ship loved and hated for many reasons, but for me personally, it's in the love box because, as I've shown you, you can have a lot of fun with this thing. It's extremely quick. It's simple. It's going to be easy to repair in the future. Maintenance, things like that. So there's a lot going for this ship. So that's going to wrap up this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you know what buttons to press. And I will have more Star Citizen content en route to your location soon. Thank you very much. Take care. Cheers.